Do you see that in many people's eyes?
I do. I see it in a lot of people. I think there's something that God put in all of us, and that's to overcome, to move forward.
Jesus Christ, you can trust him. He'll never fail.
We've seen midgets grow. We've seen arms and legs that stop growing. Mandada basata. I don't make this stuff up.
So are we going to be called away to meet the Lord? But it's not going to be 300 years. We live in right at the coming of Jesus Christ.
You're just a 10-foot tall crybaby.
I'm crying.
It's not so bad. I mean, no, Christians aren't being killed.
No, not yet.
What the Bible says, Leviticus 20:13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with the woman, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. And that, my friend, is the cure for AIDS.
The notion that atheists are somehow the intelligentsia among us and so forth, I think this is just completely false.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Age of Reason podcast. What's going on, Alex?
Oh, not much, man. Just sitting over here pretty full. Just got back from Sacramento.
You and food.
And grubbed out over there.
Why'd you go to Sacramento?
We went for IKEA, so we're looking around over there. Had some Swedish meatballs, some cinnamon rolls, and then I had to Google the best Chinese food place in Sacramento. So we went there, and now I'm paying for it.
You know, when you said you're in Sac, I was like, oh, he's probably at a Bernie Sanders thing. Fuck food, man. So, all right, we have quite a few things to discuss here. So, I'm gonna run through half of a topic real quick. So, this week will be the beginning of the end of the reverse pickpocketing of Jesus. So, I watched that DVD last night. How Great Is Our God? I watched it with my wife, and it should be nominated for best comedy. Honestly, it was hilarious. Now there's what the guy talked about, and then there's a really big part of it. But I'm not going to get into the big part on this week because we just don't have time. So I'm going to go through this quickly. This guy quotes a verse out of the Bible, out of Genesis, about God being a star breather. So our stars came out of God's mouth. So the Big Bang is real because God sneezed and out came the cosmos.
That sounds like a pretty cool, sci-fi name or something.
It does.
The star breather.
Yeah, like L. Ron Hubbard or some shit like that. But so he said, he quotes this thing about how God breathes stars. He refers to life as just vapor. And that's what happened. God sneezed and it caused the Big Bang. He also said that every birth is a miracle, because apparently, I guess miracles must be in high supply rather than demand, because how many people do we have on this planet right now?
Every birth is a miracle?
Yeah, every birth. Like the fact that humans or any living organism is created from two cells that join together as one. And then they create, so many trillion cells, that is a miracle. And yeah, it's mind blowing. It's crazy how it works, but a miracle is something that doesn't happen often, and we don't have a problem having offspring.
Well, I think a miracle is something beyond the natural order, right? So anything that we can, and that might be even stretching it, but anything like birth, we can explain the almost the entire process. So there's no miracle in it because we've pretty much solved that.
I agree. I think there's two types of miracles. I think there's the one you just mentioned, and then there's miracle like the famous hockey game that there's a movie made out of, where like the odds are just so stacked in one direction and things go completely differently according to plan. So yeah, there's two definitions of miracle, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, that one's, people will say, oh, it was a miracle victory or, something like that. But I mean, in reality, there might have been a 1.2 chance or, something like that happens. So it's not necessarily, impossible.
It's not divine intervention. Miracles, by definition of the word, don't fucking exist. So it really doesn't matter. But yeah, that's what he said. Everyone's a miracle. And over and over and over again, he would say a variation of this quote: "God strengthens the power of the weak," and that's what it was. He was preying on the weak as they always do. There's another part of this whole thing about a molecule called laminin, which is an adhesion molecule. I'm going to get into that next week because this is going to take a while. But what I will say is when you and I did a mock debate about evolution, and when I was playing the Christian, I took the defense of, well, everything that you discover is just you discovering how great and powerful God is. And at one point you said, okay, we're going to end the argument because all you're doing is saying, oh, yeah, science rocks. I can't believe how great God is. How did he come up with this? And that's all this was. This guy gave scientific facts for a lot of things about astronomy and planets and suns and all that shit. But at the end of every one of his facts, he would say, how glorious is God? Anyway.
Yeah, I would, probably question some of his, even the scientific facts on there. I
some of them were legit. I will say some of them were legit. I knew a lot about what he was referring to,
and it was just I guess that's an argument that they sometimes try to say is that basically that God made it all happen and it's basically impossible for it to happen. So the only way for it to have happened is for a perfect being to touch it or whatever.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I haven't had too many people push that argument. I think it's you can just by saying all the bad shit that still goes on is the way that I guess I would pursue the argument is. If that's the case, and he went through all these great measures to make life, on this balancing edge, why did he still do such a fucked up job?
That there was a purpose for all of it. He goes over that. God has a purpose for all suffering and all this other shit. It's the same answers you've always heard. But wait until next week when we actually have more time and we don't have the debate and all that shit to discuss this week. When we have more time to get into it, I'll get into what the laminin molecule is and what that means to Christians, because there's some people out there that are taking this as absolute proof of the existence of God. But I don't want to spoil anything, so we'll get into that next week. So that is just a continuation of the BS arguments I've been having with that other guy. You got anything?
The only thing that I spent some time arguing with through social media today was that Oregon militia thing. I saw a meme that was.
Wait! Did you find somebody for them?
It was. So it was in defense, right? It was. The meme was, of course, it showed black looters over a burning car. And it said, well, so Black Lives Matter, but white ranchers' lives don't. And it showed a picture of the guy that was, shot in, last week. And it was just like, really? And their defense was, basically he was an innocent man. And some people, they're not saying they thought, but some people think that his hands were, up.
No, they weren't. You can see he looks like he was reaching for his dick right before he gets shot. You don't pull your dick out at federal agents.
And from the beginning of the video, he is at a stop. Or he stopped at a checkpoint.
Yeah, and then he evaded.
And he drives right past them. So right there, you're breaking the law. You're evading, the police. And then from there, coming up on the next ones, when he drives into the snowbank,
you're right.
Everybody knows, right? You never get out of your car when a cop is pulling you over for whatever reason.
Here's what we don't know, though. What we don't know, because he didn't get out of the car immediately. He got out of the car, soon after they drove up on the embankment. But there's no audio. So we don't know if he was giving commands. or any of that?
It seemed, I don't know. I might have to watch it again, but it seemed like as soon as it kind of crashed on the snowbed, he jumped out.
I could be wrong. It seemed like a few seconds had gone by, enough time for an order to be issued. But I'm only bringing this up because if this is an argument people are going to use, bottom line, you see it plain view on the fucking videotape. The guy reached for his dick, and he got shot.
Hey, he had a bag of them back home. He should have just.
This is the fucking point of hashtag Eat the D's. If they just would have used the goddamn supplies that they were sent and been happy with the cock, everything would have been fine. They had sexual pleasure and they had food. Perfect. I don't know what else white rednecks fucking need, but redneck lives. I'm not gonna say they matter. I'm not going that route. It ain't happening.
Yeah. So that's it.
Well, hopefully, I'm sure we're probably gonna have to talk about this one more time. But hopefully this is the beginning of the end of Eat the D's. I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's the end of it. If last I heard, there's 3 people over there still, and they're gearing up for war and all this other. So hopefully this will be the end of it. But speaking of white privilege and blacks and stuff like that, Oscar's So White. All right. So for the second year in a row, no black actor or director or any of that got nominated for any of the main categories. So this is 2 years in a row. Everybody's asking, is this a problem? Is there systematic issues in Hollywood? Here's what I think. I think to a point there may be some there. I don't know. I'm not in Hollywood. All I know is that you do have black celebrities on both sides. As far as I've heard, Chris Rock hasn't pulled out yet. So, Whoopi Goldberg is not on this train. You basically have Jada Pinkett and Spike Lee leading this. I will say that I can spot an Oscar performance. I do it every year. And I saw Oscar-worthy stuff in Straight Outta Compton. It was a great movie, and it's great that they didn't nominate Paul Giamatti because that would have made everything worse. But there's gonna be more to develop on this. But one thing that I do want to get into is the new controversy, which is Joe Fiennes, who is Ray Fiennes, played Armand Goeth in Schindler's List. That guy's brother is going to play Michael Jackson in either a miniseries or a made-for-TV movie in Britain. So obviously he's white. And that's causing some issues. Probably not good timing. I will say that. This is probably not a good, well-timed announcement of a white actor playing one of the most famous, if not the most famous black artist of all time. Probably not a good idea. But this particular incident, this is when the pendulum swings. In my opinion, it's when the pendulum swings way far to the left. It's not about by culture. You're saying that Michael Jackson is black or white. This is strictly by color. And Michael Jackson was whiter than me. And and here's a key point. This movie takes place in 2001. It's about some sort of road trip or some shit that he was on. This movie happens in 2001. So this is not Jackson 5 Michael Jackson or Thriller Michael Jackson. This is 2001. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I didn't know all the details on it. I thought, if anything, you might need 2 characters to play him.
That would make sense.
Black and one white. But if that's the case, that it was from 2001 in that time period, as long as, me being a child of the mid 80s, as long as I remember Michael Jackson, he was, like you said, white. So I don't see it as a problem. You're a little more into the movies than I am. I don't catch them too often. So I'm going to boycott this Oscar like I boycott every Oscars. But it is, kind of an interesting thing. Maybe, I guess Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson and Morgan Freeman haven't been in any movies lately, so I'm not sure.
No, they have. They've been in a few movies. Samuel L. Jackson's in Hateful Eight. I mean, it's not that we're being starved for, black actors to an extent. I mean, there are some issues there. Like like off the top of my head, for as great as Samuel L. Jackson is, he's an amazing actor. I don't think he's ever actually carried a movie by himself. There are only a few black actors that are thought and believed to be able to do that. Like Will Smith is one of them. Denzel Washington is another one. So, like I said, when it comes to the Oscar so white thing, there could be a problem there. I don't know. But when it comes to Michael Jackson, this casting decision is not about race. It's about, specifically, it is about color. That's it. And what I'm hearing, with some of the arguments that I've heard is there's a Broadway show. I don't remember what it's called, but there's a Broadway show going on right now, and they have a black Thomas Jefferson. Nobody seems to have a problem with it. I wouldn't have a problem with it. It's a play. It's a little bit different. But me being so into film, I want realism. I do not want a black Thomas Jefferson, just like when Selma came out, I didn't want William Dafoe playing Martin Luther King. For me, it needs to be real. That you can get away with that on stage. I don't think you can get away with that in the movies, and I don't think you should be able to get away with that in the movies. And when it comes to Michael Jackson, I really think this is when liberals are starting to get a little bit out of hand. They find one good case for again, systematic racism in the Oscars, and that case is going really well for them. But that doesn't mean that every damn thing that happens is racially motivated. And I think that's something that we do have to keep in mind.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think, something that we had talked about, I think off air previously, was just, it seems like most of the movies now are remakes of older movies or, sequels, or, it seems more and more like we're getting fed almost the same recycled crap movies, the same, crap music. Our news is crap. It just seems like basically, I don't know if big corporations are the downfall to, I guess, artistic value, but it just seems like it's just not as valued as it used to be.
I think to a point they are. I think they have found like there are rhythms that are used in film editing. A most notable one is horror movies. The way they do horror movies is they play with your nerves throughout the entire movie. Every time somebody opens up a medicine cabinet and then they close it, there's either going to be somebody in the mirror behind them or there's not going to be. If there isn't going to be, you will hear music before it shuts. If there is going to be, you'll hear music after it closes. They do that throughout the entire movie. In every movie, there is a systematic kind of rhythm that is used for comedy, that is used for horror and thriller and drama. There really isn't one.
Yeah, based on the story.
But that's the same with music.
Yeah, definitely music. I mean, it seems like you got like 3 or 4 topics, and if it's not about that, nobody's gonna hear you.
Well, it's funny you said 3 or 4 topics. What it really is 3 or 4 chords in a specific chord progression, the 1-4-5 chord progression. I'll post this on the Facebook page. There's a video that a lot of people have seen. Have you seen The Axis of Awesome?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to post. It's an amazing video. It's this group of 3 guys, and one gets on stage with a guitar, another guy's just a vocalist, and another guy gets on there with a keyboard, and they play the same 4-chord progression, which is positions. If you know music, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's 1-4-5, and they sing hits from the last 40 years, and you'll recognize every single one of them. And that is that's another way that they have found some sort a way to basically set this stuff up. Frozen music was terrible, but the kids love it. The reason the kids love it is because they took every single song, all of the melodies and chord progressions that were used in Disney movies that they had won Oscars for, or that were very popular, like A Whole New World or Under the Sea, that sort of thing. And they took all of those songs and used them to roadmap the soundtrack for Frozen. And adults hate it, but the little kids love it. So anyway, You are onto something. I mean, this is what happens when corporations start caring more about their money than they do the art that's coming out. What?
No.
Oh, you're about to. You gasped.
Yeah, you're no, you're good, and I think that's part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing to get at least whatever impact we can have on people because I don't know if we talked about it on Thursday, but Al Jazeera News, I think if this was not their last week, this one coming up might be. They're shutting down. They were. I didn't watch them all the time, but it was an interesting perspective, a little more worldly, a little more in depth on the stories than CNN or MSNBC or obviously Fox. But it just seems like our sources for news is just getting more and more limited. I know you're big on Vice, and I like them as well. But it just seems like everything's pictures. Details and stuff are kind of irrelevant now. So,
well, speaking of details being relevant, let's move on to Flint. Here's a detail. So, emails just leaked that since January of 2015, government employees in the city of Flint have been receiving water, bottled water, and the email actually says we will continue sending bottled water to our government employees until the city water is deemed safe.
Yeah, we haven't, had a chance to talk about that. This unfortunate thing that's, unfortunately still going on. That's a horrible mess over there. Seems like that poor town can't catch a break.
No, they can't. Ever since GM, it's been terrible. And actually, I want to make sure I quote this correctly. The email stated the city water is not meeting treatment requirements. That was what the email said. This is what we've talked about before, where you hear certain things and you think, oh, that's tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. No, this shit happens. That's what's scary about all of it. I think 20 years ago, if you were saying, well, the government has poisoned our water supply and all this other shit, oh, you're fucking crazy. Go back to your backyard shack and go communicate with aliens, that sort of thing.
You tree hugger.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, no, this shit really fucking takes place. Flint is a huge problem, and not one Republican candidate will comment on it. I haven't heard one, and I've seen out of this, I think 7 that we have right now, I think I've seen 4 or 5 of them get asked this question, and they say there's not enough information to comment. But
a couple of them want to get rid of the EPA altogether.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, we don't need no stinking environmental protection.
Hey, this is small government. This is small government at its best. Even though the government was supposed to be looking after this stuff, and we do have the EPA, this is what happens with all of the blockades that we have set up to make sure this doesn't happen. It still fucking happens. Imagine if we didn't have any of that. If we just put it up to the state. This is exactly what happened. We left it up to the state of Michigan, and who gives a shit, because it's just poor black people anyway, so nobody cares. Completely sad. What else we got here? Oh, hey, good news. Okay, we need to lighten up after that one. So, an Oregon judge is being removed for refusing to marry a gay couple and having his staff lie about why he denied gay marriage licenses.
Huh, interesting. I hadn't heard about that.
Well, we have that. We have some more good news regarding Planned Parenthood. A Texas Republican judge not only let Planned Parenthood rightfully off the hook, they had no wrongdoing on their part, but he indicted the creators of that whole sting operation for trying to traffic body parts. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get more ironic than that. So all this bullshit that we've been hearing, Carly Fiorina, harvest its organs, all this other bullshit. The people she was supporting were actually trying and are being indicted for attempting to harvest organs.
But I think, and honestly, I'm not sure on all the details of this, but I would imagine those charges came from their undercover sting video and the things that they maybe had to do to get them to say different things on the video, right? I mean, they weren't actually. These people are pro-life people. They weren't actually trying to harvest the parts.
No, here's the thing. We don't have all those details, but what I think does need to be pointed out is if you ever tell a federal agent, even if they're undercover, that you intend to commit a crime, you are treated almost as if you are then guilty of attempting to commit that crime. So you're never allowed to tell a federal agent any of that stuff, and that's how people get arrested for trying to set up.
The different like terrorists,
even assassinations. Kill my husband. He's cheating on me. That sort of thing.
So that kind of makes what I said, right? It kind of goes along the same lines. It was, just during the sting or something like that. Their actions, were deemed illegal.
That's what I don't know, because they said they were trying to get Planned Parenthood to admit to this. Why were they talking to a federal agent?
The things that I saw, I thought, and I'll have to brush up on the facts, but I thought it was for impeding, like messing with legal documents and things like that. There's
trafficking body parts, and there's using an expired license or out-of-state ID. They had California driver's licenses, and they were trying to do something that they wouldn't be able to do without a Texas license. Either way, great fucking news. Planned Parenthood is off the hook, and these guys are getting indicted. And I don't know if this is good news or not, but the Republicans don't seem aware of this. So Carly Fiorina last week. Okay. A group of daycare kids are going to, I think it was the Botanical Gardens, on a field trip. She ushers about 30 kids from this daycare into a room with pictures of aborted babies and all that nasty shit that pro-lifers like throwing on their signs, and had a recorded kind of press conference in a way. Recorded a video with these 30 kids sitting behind her on a stage with all these pictures. She kidnapped a group of daycare kids going on a field trip, and I think held them in there for 2 hours while she filmed this.
That's disgusting. I would sue.
The only thing is, the only parent that I've heard speak out about this was a father who was like, what the hell? Yeah, I signed the permission slip for my child to go to the Botanical Gardens, not to be drug into some sort of political agenda.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that either. It was
on the Daily Show. But not a lot of people are talking about it. I hate her. I hate her so bad. Right now, she went on Twitter and she's like riding high off of the debate win today, and I'm like, okay, you won in Little League T-ball. So if by winning, I hope you mean you're getting a participation. Is that the word?
No, it's not gonna fucking rain on her.
Yeah, not precipitation. Participation trophy. There it is. Jesus Christ. I totally screwed up my joke. It would have been so much funnier if I wouldn't have fucked that up. But no, I tweeted back to her and I'm like, I hope I win. You mean you got a participation trophy? Because what the hell are you talking about?
Or maybe an invitation to the big boy table.
She didn't get that. Rand Paul got an invite back to the big kid table. And Rand Paul had, again, the best performance on that stage. And he had the loudest cheers out of that crowd every time he spoke. I wish he was the Republican nominee, because I wouldn't feel all doom and gloom or like there's a huge risk if he were to get elected. No, I don't agree with all of his policies, but out of everybody on that stage, just like I said earlier, there's the top 3 people this country will not recover from. We would recover from Ron Paul or Rand Paul. Sorry.
I don't know. Some of his libertarian views are, I mean, as progressive as Bernie is on the left, I would say Rand Paul truly is on the right. I would almost disagree and say he might be the most dangerous.
Really?
Yes, just because the agenda that he would put forward would be to slash Social Security, slash, all government funding. Libertarians are basically,
government stays out of your life completely. Therefore, if you get aid from them, they're not there for you then either.
Yeah, and the good thing is he's a little bit. He's talked about subsidies for rich, corporations and things like that.
No, sure, and you just named every policy that I have an issue with him, and there's others. It's not his policy, but what I don't get from Rand Paul and what you don't get from the Libertarian Party, almost as a whole, he's not going to put us at war. He's not actively searching to put us at war like the rest of the people are on that stage.
Yeah, but his dad wanted to close every single military base we had outside the United States.
Right.
That's how extreme, the libertarian view is.
I don't know what his view on that is, though. I don't know if he's along the same lines.
Maybe not as much because he wants to be elected, but I believe he's. I think isolationist is pretty much the libertarian kind of foreign policy.
Yeah, you're right there. I'm just saying, out of everybody on that stage, he's been the one that I think is at least has a calm head on his shoulders. He's not so quick to just jump into war with Russia or Iran, or any of that. He's not. Oh, you know what it is? He's not doing the tough talk that everybody else is doing. Everybody else does their tough talk. They come to him and he's like, well, yeah, you can stand up here and talk tough if you want to start World War III, or look at Christy over here who threw a temper tantrum, that sort of thing. But
did you see
what?
Oh man, did Christy say he was going to start pounding the meat or something? I gotta look it up, but he said
pounding the meat like he's gonna tenderize it.
Oh man,
he's gonna take his meat tenderizer to Hillary Clinton.
He did.
I'm laughing and I don't even know what this is.
He was talking to Morning Joe, and he says, "I'm gonna start pounding the meat, Joe."
Why? Hold up. What's the context?
Oh, you're gonna have to give me a second. Oh, he was referring to the way in which the fictional boxer Rocky punches slabs of meat to get himself ready for a fight. So he tells him, "You know what, Joe? I'm gonna start pounding the meat."
You know he's gonna eat the meat, the big bastard.
Oh man, him pounding the meat, like, please, for the love of God, whatever you do not begin pounding the meat on my show. Oh man.
All right, I'm gonna continue on while Alex collects himself. All right, I didn't even take any notes on Christy because he just kept saying the same thing. I'm going to talk to the people for a second.
I'm hungry. Where's the meat?
So I didn't even take any notes on Christy because all he said was the same stuff. Hold on, Megan. I want to talk to the people for a minute. And then he looks at the camera and it's like, dude, that was cute like the first 1 or 2 times you did that. But whatever. Stop looking at the fucking camera. I'm not a piece of meat, Mr. Christie. God damn it. So he said the same damn thing. When the day comes for somebody to debate Hillary Clinton, you're going to want to prosecute her. And I'm big and tough, and I use my hands, not a knife and fork. That whole fucking spiel. But
I can pound the meat like no other.
One thing I will say about Rand Paul, he had the perfect response to the injustice in our prison system, and the war on drugs. He's against minimum sentencing for that, and his response was perfect. But he Ted Cruz. So Ted Cruz argued with Megyn Kelly. Not with Megyn Kelly. The other guy. Not Brett. The other fucker. Argues with him because now for the last 2 questions, he's like, he's like, Rubio, Bush, Paul, Ted Cruz says this, you disagree with him. Why do you disagree with him? That happened like 2 times. And Ted Cruz was like, listen to these questions. Rubio attacked Cruz. Jeb Bush attacked Cruz. If you guys are going to keep asking mean questions, I'm just going to have to walk off the stage. He threatened to leave. And he got booed for it. He threatened to leave.
Well, I mean, the number one made through on his threat, so Donald Trump was absent for this one.
Yeah.
To me, I think I said it the other day. I think this might be kind of Trump's downfall. You can't, as much as you want to be anti-establishment and what you can't do, you can't just threaten to leave in the middle of a debate or just not show up to a debate. I mean, this is serious. You're an adult here. We all got to do things we don't want to do.
But Megyn Kelly's so scary.
It's,
Let me tell you though, Fox News did. Oh man. Whew. Fox News did an outstanding job. They never mentioned the Planned Parenthood indictment. And what was the other thing they didn't mention? Shit, I can't remember what it was, but there were 2 things that obviously, just because they're right-wing media, they didn't mention Planned Parenthood indictments, but other than that, Megyn Kelly fucking grilled these guys. And the whole idea that Fox had about, okay, we're going to put these clips together of these specific candidates. It wasn't all of them, but mainly the top 4, flip-flopping on issues just so they can't deny it. And then we're going to ask our question. And they did that. They played montages of these guys like Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Chris Christie, I believe, had one. And I think Jeb Bush had one. And they played videos of these guys flip-flopping on issues, mainly having to do with immigration and amnesty and all that. And they played Ted Cruz's, and he denied the whole thing. They all did. They all, none of them, and it was so funny. Rand Paul was hilarious because I believe on 2 of these, they play the montage. Mr. Cruz or Mr. Rubio, what do you have to say? Why did you flip-flop? I didn't flip-flop. What I was saying was this, and they try to backdoor themselves out of it. And then Senator Rand Paul, did he flip-flop on this issue? Yes, he did. Like, he did that twice. He's like, Fox News did the fairest fucking debate that I've seen on the Republican side so far, and Megyn Kelly grilled these guys as hard as Anderson Cooper did in the first Democratic debate.
Oh, that's good. And this is the first time, honestly, I missed it live, and I haven't even gone back and watched it. Was Ben Carson asleep the whole time, or?
So Ben Carson, Ben Carson. Let me ask you this: what is, when somebody says the Islamic State? In your head, what are they referring to?
ISIS.
Okay. I'm not sure if he really understands that, because he said we need to declare war on the Islamic State, but he phrased it as if we need to declare war on Islam. That's how I took it. I was like, I don't know if this guy really knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Is that the first time you said that? About
no. But what I will say is, he tweeted just before he went on stage. He tweeted like, God, please see me through this debate. I'm your vessel. I will stand aside and let you speak for me. That sort
That's
of shit.
the problem right there.
Well, no, here's the thing. I believe him. I just I think God is always speaking to Ben Carson. I just think he's always singing him a lullaby. But he had nothing at all to bring to the table whatsoever. Rubio went on about our Judeo-Christian values, and that's why we're such a great country. And he was asked a question about what influences him to make decisions, and he says, "I allow my faith to influence everything. My faith to influence everything I do." And I love the arrogance of Christians, especially the ones on that stage, when they say that God is watching over our nation and all this other shit. We're the youngest superpower there is, but God has His hand in everything. And they two of them thanked God for blessing us with all the resources we have when we talk about fracking and why oil prices have plummeted for us. And the Bible commands us to shine a light on the rest of the world. Apparently, it says that in there somewhere.
I thought we stopped doing that a long time ago, or trying to do that at least.
I don't know, dude. It was, I don't know. It would have definitely been more interesting if Trump would have been on, but I mean, I don't know. And then when it comes to Trump, I mean, Bill O'Reilly couldn't offer him enough milkshakes to come back. I don't know if you heard about the milkshake deal.
No.
It's making waves right now on social media about what the hell him and O'Reilly were talking about. And I think they released it. I didn't see it. But when O'Reilly was trying to tell Trump this was a bad idea, he said, "You still owe me for the milkshakes, and I'll take that off the table if you agree to just consider showing up at the debate." I believe this is like the day before.
I think Bill O'Reilly was singing that song, "His Milkshake Brings."
That's exactly what I was thinking. Ew.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm liberal on gay marriage, but I think I might have to draw the line there.
Exactly. Well, that was basically it. Again, we didn't learn anything from this debate. Nothing was said that was different. Oh, that was the other thing Fox News didn't mention. Nobody mentioned the fact that the Iranian deal, that the hostages have been returned. They did bring up the Iranian deal, and they brought up Obamacare and a few other things. And Fox News actually said, "You do realize if you tear Obamacare up on day one, Mr. Cruz, that you're disenfranchising all these different, millions of people from healthcare. What do you intend to do about it?" His answer was to immediately implement his plan and blah, blah, blah. But no mention that...
That's exactly like Obamacare. Just, there's no way if you get rid of Obamacare...
80 million, man.
There's no way without making the same leaps that Obamacare had to do that you're going to keep all those people insured.
Exactly. And Ted Cruz said again when pressed on carpet bombing villages and bombing them into oblivion and all this other shit that, you realize you're going to kill a lot of innocent civilians. And his reply once again was, "I will not apologize for protecting the American people."
Yeah, it was funny. I heard him give that same defense when he was, I think it might have been Fox. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was one of the morning shows, but they were telling him, this is retired general, 4-star general, blah, blah, blah. And he said, carpet bombing is just the term that people that don't know what they're talking about use when they're talking about the military. And he, pretty much said the same kind of bullshit. But I thought it was pretty funny that, a general came out and said, that's basically, just... It's not a term, it's not a strategic term,
Let's just say carpet bomb.
Yeah, we'll just, strategically carpet bomb this whole area, but.
Well, speaking of people that speak out of turn, B.O.B. I don't know much about him. I know he has that song "Nothing on You" from Bruno Mars, like that he won a Grammy 4 years back. But other than that, I know nothing about this guy other than he's a rapper or at least somewhat involved in the hip hop industry. I don't know much, but what I do know about him is he thinks the earth is flat, and he has proof.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't know much about him, but I did, I saw his proof, and then read his little bit of his conspiracy that the only pictures that we've seen of Earth is from NASA. So
bastards.
Those bastards are at the top of the conspiracy.
The world looks flat. I'll give him that. You would think so, but why would you? What's the conspiracy? What is? There's got to be motivation here. There's got to be a motivation for people that know better to keep this lie up for that the world is a sphere for as long as it's been around. There's got to be a reason for this. I haven't heard him give a motivation for it.
I mean, from what I understand, he thinks that the government is trying to just hold the truth from people, and they don't want you to know the truth that the earth is actually flat.
But why? Is there a reason? Has he given a reason? Like what they benefit by lying, telling us the world is round?
No, I don't know enough about it.
Maybe he hasn't thought that far ahead.
I mean, obviously not, but Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, he murdered him.
Oh, he's great, man.
But I think he touched on a bigger point. Tyson did when while he was in the middle of murdering B.O.B.'s. Because when I hear B.O.B., like I said, I think, oh, he won that Grammy. I don't think scientist or anything like that. Like when I think of Tyson, I think, oh, my favorite astrophysicist. So Tyson said when he was on the Nightly Show with Wilmore, he said, once you become a celebrity, you need to watch what you say. And he tells B.O.B., if you believe the world is flat, that's fine. That's your right to do that, to believe what you want. But when you're a celebrity and you have people that listen to you, you have a responsibility to not speak bullshit. And this kind of goes back to the rant I had on O'Reilly last month when San Bernardino happened, and he said, the cops and the FBI are trying to get it right. Unlike us, they can get it right, and it's, we can get it right in the media, and it's okay. No, it's not. People die when you get it wrong in the media. And I don't think anybody's going to die because they think the world is flat, because obviously they're not going to fall off of it. But but it does pander to the stupidity. I'm sure there's a B.O.B. diehard fan out there somewhere that's going to believe what this guy says.
Not even, I don't think not even just to that extent. I think you have ignorant people that might not even be huge fans of his, but they see the picture, because the picture, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it's him with two cities in the background. Mm-hmm. It's an up-close picture of him, but in the background, there's two cities. And it says, these two major cities are, I don't remember if it's 150 miles apart or something like that. Why can you see them both in the same picture? If it was curved, the curvature, you wouldn't be able to see both cities.
Or
I'm not sure.
They would look sunken in,
like,
on the left and
exactly,
the right, like that.
Exactly, right. And
he is aware of terrain, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the thing with these two cities, but I mean there are elevation levels, and I honestly I don't know how large the spectrum has to be for you to be able to tell that the world is a sphere. I don't know. I don't think 150 miles is long enough, but I mean, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid.
It's
right?
just dumb.
And that's I guess.
He obviously doesn't believe in the flying spaghetti monster, because the proof that we have for that is that the planets are shaped as meatballs. Don't question the spaghetti monster and his holy appendages. it is sad that we have, and a lot of people know, more people I bet know who B.O.B. is than Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is sad. Definitely more people know who the Kardashians are.
Yeah, that one definitely for sure.
That's a problem.
Yeah, without a doubt. So I think the last thing I got here on my notes is the Democratic debates, and I believe I just read before we came on that the DNC has sanctioned, I believe it's 4 more Democratic debates.
Nice.
I'm honestly mixed about this.
Okay, maybe not nice.
Well, the reason why I'm mixed, right, is because initially Martin O'Malley and Bernie Sanders, when the schedule came out, they said, it's pretty much bullshit. They said there's only 6 debates. I think when Hillary and Obama went against each other in 2008, I believe there was 24 or something like that, right? So obviously a huge difference. And as you know, most of them are on Saturdays or Sundays, on holidays.
So are one of these debates going to be during the Super Bowl? It wouldn't surprise me.
So you would think, right? So that was the initial plan. And again, Bernie and O'Malley at the beginning were saying, hey, this is not right. We want more debates. We want more debates. And that, it fell on deaf ears.
Right.
The DNC pretty much said, no, this is the schedule. We're sticking to the schedule. Well, now that Bernie's doing so well and things are changing, Hillary's thinking, oh, I need more debates.
I'm right there with you, dude. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's, and Bernie's going to do it because, he's a gangster and he's going to, he's not going to back down.
Right.
But at the same time, his campaign has even acknowledged, the fact that it's funny now that the Clinton campaign wants to do it, even though 2/3 of the presidential field had wanted to do it previously. Now that the 1/3, the leader, the presumptive leader, wants to do it, stop everything. Let's sanction some more debates. I think it's bullshit. I think, I'm glad that they're going to be there. It's for us, as Bernie supporters. I think it just means that he's going to have a couple more opportunities to show himself,
right?
To people. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but the way that it all played out, I think, is bullshit. And
no, I completely agreed. I think that's what happened is Hillary was probably thinking, because, we talked about you brought up CNN last week about how they basically said that Bernie's raising taxes, which is true, but they didn't give the backstory regarding the money you're going to save on premiums and all that. So I think the initial campaign plan for Hillary was, let's just keep this guy in the dark, and there's no way he's going to blow up on social media. Or, if he does, it's a small chance, and that's a risk that we're just going to have to take. And she was completely wrong about it. Bernie, did you see the marching video from Iowa today?
Yeah, there was one in Iowa yesterday. Huge.
Minnesota
and New York. It's amazing.
It is.
One of my friends, Victor, who's a listener, he drove to Monterey from over here yesterday to go to a Honk and Wave. I think he was at the Oakland March the weekend prior.
Nice.
It's amazing, just people just dedicating their time, to go out and like a honk and wave, just to get people to, to honk and show support like that. The movement it's real, and I can't remember a march for any other politician. Even Obama, I don't think had people organize themselves to this degree and just got together and said, let's march, for not necessarily any reason.
I can't remember. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just to bring awareness. I can't think of any, politician in my lifetime.
No, I was talking to somebody over the last few days. I think that I'm willing to bet the voter turnout is going to be one of the highest. I think we started seeing a voter decline or in the early 1900s, and it's been a steady decline since. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the highest highest voter turnout for an election in 100 years. And somebody told me, no, you're wrong about that. Obama did that in 2008. And they were telling me that Obama is not as big as Bernie. I was into politics back then. I knew I knew there was going to be a black president, and yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about it. I saw a lot of kids walking around with T-shirts on that says "Paint the White House Black" and all that. I remember all that, but that was nothing compared to this.
I think this is even more grassroots. I think,
exactly.
Even more, from the bottom up of a campaign. And, we talked about it on here before. Obama, a great president.
Right.
His charisma and personality is amazing, right? But I think Bernie just takes it one step further in just the fact that he is. I mean, I saw today 3 million donations.
He broke another record.
Another record, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I seen 20 million in January. I just saw that the campaign released last quarter. 3 months they made 29 million.
Right.
So in 1 month they're pulling 20 million. It's amazing how many people are donating, and the average is still $27. So it's people giving.
And for every person that actually gives money is going to vote.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
When people first started giving money to Bernie, the campaign would send out a sticker that said founding member of a Bernie super PAC. And it was just, going to show that basically that's his super PAC is, us the people. So I think it's really amazing. And tomorrow's the Iowa caucus. So
and I'm gonna be stuck in an office all day. I don't even know how I'm gonna pay attention to it.
It's gonna be it's gonna be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. A little bit of momentum here from the start could go a long way.
Right.
And I'm excited.
One thing does scare me though. The last 3 elections, the person that won Iowa did not win the candidacy, or the nomination rather.
I don't think so. I think Obama won Iowa.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. I know Hillary lost Iowa. Obama won Iowa.
Maybe I'm confusing that with Republican candidates. Possibly. Yeah, I think that's what it is. The last 3 elections for nomination out of Iowa did not choose the Republican nominee.
Okay,
that's what it was.
Okay.
And honestly, from the sounds of the crowd in Iowa, I wouldn't be surprised if Paul actually runs away with the nomination
No.
Dude, he's got a huge following over there.
No, he's like in 4th or 5th.
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's you never know, but I still think the big 3 are Trump, Cruz, and Rubio, and I mean a couple months ago I wouldn't have put Trump in there, but we got to be honest, he's a front runner right now. So
yeah,
I think I would be surprised to see anyone but those 3 win their nomination or
Trump's gonna get it. I have no doubt, which is funny because last summer I had every doubt. I was like, there's no way in hell the American people are gonna listen to this guy, and that was post Mexican rapists. I mean, that was after that comment. I was like, there's no fucking way America's gonna listen to this guy, and fuck was I wrong. How much time we got?
I got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. Well, yeah, that was the end of it. I took so many freaking notes on the Republican debate. Trying to think if we have anything else coming up. I mean, next week we'll be discussing the caucus, I guess.
Yeah, definitely we'll be discussing the caucus. Super Bowl Sunday, so we'll record on Monday next week.
Yeah.
And then go whoever's playing the Donkeys. Go Panthers.
It's gonna be an interesting game because you know what I mean. Manning and the Broncos tore it up 2 years ago, and look what happened to him in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. The Seahawks didn't even they didn't even have to show up to win that game. So who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I'm a little bit honestly worried. Manning's last game. I know his arm is shot, you know, but I wouldn't be surprised if mentally he wins the game somehow, just based off his, you know, intelligence.
I hope the Broncos win. I know, don't hate me. I hope the Broncos win because I think Manning is he's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've had, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be his last season.
Oh, it's got to be his arms.
I would like to see him walk away with it. Cam Newton is amazing, but you know Cam's got many years.
I don't take that whole argument.
What?
Down with the donkeys.
All right. I feel for Peyton Manning. I want Peyton Manning to walk away with one more ring on his retirement.
You feel for him, yeah? Like he hasn't had freaking.
How many does he have from the Colts?
I think just one.
All right, he deserves one more. He's rated one. He just went up against Brady.
I don't want to hear. Nobody deserves a Super Bowl. You got to earn that shit. And when it comes to the playoffs, when it counts, he's consistently lost. Consistently. Now, as I mean, during the regular season, was he somebody that I would want as my quarterback? Oh, yeah,
Hold up.
Of course.
Of course, but you're a Raider fan talking about consistency.
Hey, they were the team of the decades. For
decades ago.
Decades ago, that's right.
I'm so happy I went to fantasy, man. That way I don't have to defend any team or any of that shit.
I'm so happy I'm a pussy now and I don't have a.
It makes every game interesting.
Speaking of which, we're ending here, but Mark Davis was in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, talking to Sheldon Adelson, but
so you're gonna support Sheldon now because you're a Raider fan?
Hey, if they get if he'll build me a stadium in Las Vegas and it'll be the Las Vegas Raiders, Sheldon Adelson, I'll call him Uncle Shelly.
All right, man, you ready to conclude?
Yeah, we'll get out of here.
All right, so caucuses tomorrow. I can't wait. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.